Kyler Murray eclipsing 40 total touchdowns in 2025. The Arizona Cardinals defense doubling their takeaway total from last year. That's right. It's bold prediction time. Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Alex Clancy here. Follow me on Twitter, Clancy's Corner. Follow the podcast at Locked On AZ Cards. Thank you for being an everydayer. Thank you for being here every dang day, watching me spew out of my big dumb face things about the Arizona Cardinals. If this is your first listen to Locked On Cardinals, thank you. If you've been here since the beginning, 9th season, hosting this lovely show, thank you all the same. 15 years in sports media, man. I haven't been as excited for an Arizona Cardinals start to a season as I am right now. Week 1 is here. It's going to be a hell of a first week. I'm rolling out something that I've been teasing for a little while. There's going to be an insider program. Okay. It's going to be more access to me. It's going to be more access to content, it's rolling out this week. So it's another thing that I'm super excited about. We've got crossover Thursday with Ross Jackson from Locked On Saints. I'll give my full game breakdown on Friday, as this is this is between Christmas and New Year's. Nobody knows what day it is. There wasn't a game last week to break down. It was a holiday yesterday. So what better time to do bold predictions today and win-loss predictions, my final number, tomorrow. And I've done them already, and I was kind of surprised with the number, to be completely honest. Today's episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Bold predictions. Bold predictions. And these bold predictions are ones that actually could happen. Like, this isn't like the Cardinals go 17-0. They're the first team since the Miami Dolphins in 1970, whatever, 1972, to not lose a game the entirety of the season. I'm not talking like that. I'm talking bold predictions that could actually happen. And if they do, whoa. Like the Cardinals, like the spectrum for where the Cardinals could land in 2025 is vast. It's really centralized around one pocket of it. But the people who will always say it's always the Arizona Cardinals, nothing's going to change, they haven't been wrong yet. That's just a fact, aside from a couple pockets here and there. They haven't been wrong yet. But the Cardinals have the aptitude, the culture, the cohesion, the foundation, whatever it is, the roster, to be able to shoo off the naysayers and surprise some people. So I'm going to break this up into 3 categories. Really 2 categories, just the offense and the defense. And then in the final segment, The Athletic put a poll out that favors the Cardinals. So I wasn't going to talk about it, but I will, just because it's fun. So the bold predictions on offense, there's a couple. And I'm going to start with the biggest one. Kyler Murray will have 40 or more total touchdowns. He peaked out at 37 total touchdowns in the 2020 season. 2021, you would think that would be the year, but he had 11 rushing touchdowns in 2020. So 40 total touchdowns mean the Cardinals win double-digit games for sure. It means they very well could win the NFC West. And if you couple that with the defense that's been heightened, astronomically talent-wise, you're going to be looking at banana sandwich situation at the end of the year, where we're talking into January. Something that we haven't really, into mid-January, something we haven't really grown accustomed to here on Locked On Cardinals. That's one, and totally feasible, totally possible. It's going to be dependent upon the rushing touchdowns. Kyler Murray can throw 25 touchdowns without really breaking a sweat. And I feel like if they can nuance their way into making him an integral part of the run game, not just a it's RPO only, or it's one design run a game or every 2 games, or it's Kyler Murray doing his thing in what I call the gray area plays, where he'll just break it off, beat an edge rusher to the edge and just house it down the sideline. Like, it's got to be a culmination or a combination of those 3. It's got to be all of it, because 40 touchdowns is tough. I know Lamar Jackson threw for 40 touchdowns last year alone. He was absolutely wizard-like last year. Lamar Jackson 6'3", faster than Kyler Murray. It's not really just because they both can run the ball doesn't mean they're the same. But I think that's one. I think it's feasible. It is a bold because he's never done it before. And a full year removed and some change, obviously, from his ACL tear. This would be the time where he's in peak situation to do it. So that's one. Number 2, bold prediction. This may be the weakest of the bold, but Marvin Harrison Jr. is a Pro Bowler. The reason why it's the weakest of the bold, but still bold, is there's a lot of damn good receivers in the NFL. And I'm not talking alternate. I'm talking the ballot that is rolled out before alternates get thrown in. Marv is one of them. And what is it going to take for Marv to get, which is like baked in to the bold prediction? It's going to have to be 80 plus catches. It's going to have to be 1,300 plus yards. And it's going to have to be 10 plus touchdowns. That is a Pro Bowl year. Even though the weird thing about it is, like, that's only 65 yards a game, 63, something like that. Is that right? Yeah. I mean, it's something that it's whatever, 65, 66. It's something that is 100% attainable. And while I've much maligned the Arizona Cardinals and their top-heavy roster nature forever, having the 1-2 punch of Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison Jr. could definitely be enough. And then you pepper in, the wide receiver 2 conglomerate that is Zay Jones, Michael Wilson, and Greg Dortch. Bold prediction number 3, Zay Jones becomes the bona fide wide receiver 2. The go-to wide receiver 2 when Marv and Trey are bracketed. Maybe when Trey's not on the field, potentially, when Marv is taking a beat on the sideline. He completely leapfrogs Michael Wilson to be wide receiver 2. And I don't think that's crazy bold. It'll be interesting to see, because we saw nothing from Zay Jones last year. 0. I know he missed the first 6 games, and I know he was new in the system, new to Kyler Murray, new to all of it. First full offseason, Zay Jones, the veteran, will be the wide receiver 2 for Kyler Murray. And then, pass catcher 3, wide receiver 2. And then finally, Trey McBride will have more receiving touchdowns in 2025 than he has the entirety of his career so far. That sounds, that's so huge. He's had 6. Okay. I think he'll hit double-digit touchdowns too. This is the year where the Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill comps come. I'm not talking about play style. I'm not talking about Tyreek Hill and Marvin Harrison Jr. at this time in their career being on the same plane. I'm not talking about that. But I'm saying for the Arizona Cardinals version of it, this is the year where it'll happen. And I think, like, all signs are pointing to that. All signs are pointing to the natural progression of that being what happens at the end of week 18 when we look back. And if all of those things happen, like all of those things, and obviously some play a part of each other, Marv's touchdown numbers, Trey's touchdown, and Kyler Murray's throwing touchdown numbers. If all of those things happen, we're having different conversations. The naysayers will be quieted. Kyler Murray will be in the conversation for MVP. And the Cardinals will be winning a whole bunch of games. I don't like doing Kyler Murray will be a top 5 MVP candidate. I don't care. It's about numbers and it's about wins and losses. That'll be a byproduct, but I'd rather look at what would get him there as opposed to him being there. And, some honorable mentions, like things that I've thought about, James Conner and Trey Benson, it's going to be tricky. Like, I don't really care as long as it's productive. And that's been the metronome for this offense. So I don't think there's anything really bold. James Conner has 20 touchdowns this year. It's like, it's going to be it's going to be by committee, this offense. You would think that it's going to be a complement of the rushing and passing game together as a cohesive unit and not being separate entities like we've seen for the last couple seasons. And then, the other honorable mention, which is tough, is Yalta Froholt is a Pro Bowler as well. If you told me Paris Johnson Jr. is a Pro Bowler, I would be like, okay, yeah, that's right. Yalta Froholt is kind of the unsung hero, one of the captains. But yeah, I mean, listen, like the hard-nosed offense of Marv being a Pro Bowler, Trey having 10-plus touchdowns, and Kyler Murray having 40 total, that's a recipe for success for the Cardinals in 2025. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. We're moving to the defense next. Budda Baker, All-Pro, not as far off as you would think. Next. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by our friends at Yahoo Fantasy. So I completed my third fantasy draft on Yahoo Fantasy apps yesterday. And I'm telling you, it is the greatest thing on the planet. It's super easy to use, super clean. And with the NFL season right around the corner, you can feel the buzz with fantasy football being here. Everyone's researching, drafting, and building their championship squads. There's some crazy people who are drafting tomorrow like maniacs. Yahoo Fantasy is loaded with fun ways to compete and brand new features that make the game even better. With season kickoff Thursday, now is the time to start playing Yahoo Fantasy Football if you haven't already, which offers so many fun ways to compete. Want more ways to play? Try the brand new Yahoo Fantasy Guillotine League mode, where the lowest scoring team gets eliminated weekly until one team is left standing. Want to play instantly with friends? Try the new Draft with Friends mode. No crew, no problem. Join a public league, the easiest way to play it. The new season kicks off on September 4th, so don't wait. Start your league now. Draft now at yahoofantasy.com/LockedOnNFL. That's yahoofantasy.com/LockedOnNFL. Thanks for hanging out. Please go to the YouTube channel. Search Locked On Arizona Cardinals. Hit that subscribe button, man. Turn notifications on. It's only going to... We did it. We did it. I laugh because I'm excited. I giggle because I'm excited. I don't giggle often. I don't giggle, but I'm excited. And listen, we do have an important request for you. Locked On wants to hear from you. We put together a survey to learn more about our listeners and make your favorite podcast even better. And this is your chance to tell us what you like, what you don't like, and answer questions about our advertising. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey to get started. Everyone who completes a survey will be entered for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Amazon gift cards. Again, that's lockedonpodcast.com/survey. You can also find the link in the show notes. Thanks for helping out, man. Offense, Kyler Murray, 40 total touchdowns. Marv, Pro Bowler. Trey McBride, 10-plus touchdowns. Yalta Froholt, honorable mention for a Pro Bowl bid. And Zay Jones taking over as the bona fide wide receiver 2 in the wide receiver room, leapfrogging Michael Wilson. Bold predictions on the defense. I kind of buried the lead. That was going to be my last one. But we're going to go with chronology here. The one I did in the cold open. The Cardinals doubled their takeaway total from last season. They were a -3 turnover number at the end. They had 20 turnovers, 11 interceptions, 9 fumbles, and they took the ball away from opposing teams 17 times. For context, the Bills had 32 takeaways last year. I say the Cardinals, bold prediction, will double or come close to doubling their takeaway number from last year. Not the plus minus, the actual takeaway number, 30 plus, which is almost 2 a game. The reason why I think that is the Cardinals had 17 takeaways last year with zero semblance of a pass rush. I know there were a couple strip sacks early on. I think Dennis Gardeck had one. I think they had a couple against San Francisco where they won that game on the road. One was the clinching duck thrown by Brock Purdy, which I think was a tip ball intercepted. I think that's, and this is, again, these are attainable. I don't think this is something that is crazy Looney Tunes situation here. The Cardinals are well equipped from the front all the way to the safety room to be opportunistic and turn the opposing teams over. One of the massive highlights of the players who have been brought in, drafted, and who've played meaningful snaps for the Cardinals, one adjective comes to mind, which is something that Jonathan Gannon and Nick Rawlis preach, is violence. What violence yields is turnovers. What violence yields is quarterbacks throwing Ducks because they get hit right as they throw the ball. It's strip sacks. It's running backs, tight ends, wide receivers running in space and a violent hit causing the ball to be jarred free. You know football. You've watched it. That's what does it. And when you have guys, not just, Dalvin Tomlinson, Calais Campbell, Darius Robinson, Jordan Birch, Baron Browning, Josh Sweat, but the cornerbacks and the DBs like to hit people. That's why they're Arizona Cardinals. Max Melton, Will Johnson, Garrett Williams, Budda Baker, Jalen Thompson, Dadrian Taylor-Demerson. Like, they've got guys at every position who are well equipped to turn over opposing teams. So that's one. 30-plus turnovers forced by the Arizona Cardinals in 2025. And what will that yield? 30 more possessions for the Arizona Cardinals, which could in turn yield Kyler Murray getting to 40 total, Marv being a Pro Bowler, and Trey McBride getting over 10 touchdowns. And I know that just because there are 30 takeaways doesn't mean that those possessions wouldn't have happened. But a lot of times, those possessions that are yielded from turnovers are short fields that allow the Arizona Cardinals offense to put up points and score more easily than if they were to have to go after a touchback or whatever it may be. I know it's in a vacuum. I made it simple. Let's move on. Budda Baker, All-Pro. Now, I don't believe there's an actual NFL All-Pro vote that goes out via the NFL. The Associated Press is the one that everybody looks at. There is a first team and second team All-Pro. Budda Baker makes second team All-Pro. And you told me that happened. Like, yeah, I expected that. And not expected it because it's like, well, all things are put in line, so Budda Baker must do this. No, he's never been able just to be him. Last year, a little bit. You saw a glimmer last year, but the front was terrible. Even in 2021, even in 2020 when the defense was good, they didn't have two corners. They didn't have much of a pass rush outside of Chandler Jones and Zach Allen when he was healthy. J.J. Watt obviously helped with that, when he came in. But this is a full-blown front seven or front whatever the hell you want to call it in Nick Rallis' defense without a real base, even though there's a base. But, they just kind of throw players out there. This is a complete front. And I know the off-ball linebackers, the middle linebacker and Will aren't amazing, comparatively speaking. Mac Wilson, named a captain, will do just fine. Budda Baker's allowed to just be his version of Tyrann Mathieu. I know Tyrann Mathieu's been a lot more opportunistic. He's had a lot more turnovers forced in his career. He's probably a better player than Budda Baker, but he's also had opportunities to be his full self, unlike Budda Baker, who's been kind of hamstrung for the entirety of his career after being drafted in 2017. Budda Baker All-Pro? Yeah. Yes. And then the most basic, I'm not going to do sack numbers. I'm not going to do anything like that. Garrett Williams is a Pro Bowler. That's not an alternate. I think that's not bold. There's a lot of good corners in the NFC, but this is where he solidifies himself as one of the best, a household name around the NFL. He's almost there now. And I know the cornerback room wasn't great last year. It wasn't perfect by any stretch. But without any sort of real pass rush, they did a damn good job. You put a pass rush in front of them, who knows what the sky is here? Who knows what the limit is here? Who knows? But the bold predictions this year are shaping up to unveil an Arizona Cardinals team that is poised. I hate poised. I hate it. That is prepared, coaching-wise, roster-wise, leadership-wise, to make a deep run in 2025. That's not rose-colored glasses. That's not rainbows and butterflies. That is just looking at what's actually happened and where the Cardinals are positioned before the start of week 1 on Sunday for them. All signs point to them executing and us having conversations much longer while they're actively playing than last year when they were removed from playoff contention in week 16. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. The Athletic, executives, poll, Cardinals, positive. Yep. Next. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. The NFL season's almost here, and FanDuel's making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. If you want to put futures in, Jonathan Gannon, Coach of the Year, Kyler Murray, MVP, Arizona Cardinals to make the Super Bowl, you'll have $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. If you're new to FanDuel, there's so much more, whether it's single game parlays or who scores the first touchdown, whatever it is, the FanDuel app has you covered. So you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. Today's episode is also brought to you by another one of our favorites here over at Upside. Are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind. Get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app on the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use my limited time promo code touchdown and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You can make up to $300 a year just from buying the gas you already needed. At first, I thought it was too good to be true, 100%, but it's totally legit. Real people getting paid just by making their daily commutes and getting the gas that they already needed. Plus, you can cash out at any time to your bank account, PayPal or an e-gift card or Amazon gift card or other brands. Please don't let this offer drive by. Download the free Upside app now and use my limited time promo code touchdown for a limited time 25 cent per gallon bonus. That's promo code touchdown. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. Again, I'll be rolling out an insider program where we'll be able to communicate via text outside of the show. Get questions answered, talk game day, talk about anything Cardinals. I just want to expand our relationship, and Locked On is providing that ability for us to be able to do it. I'm super stoked about it. Bold predictions, recap. Kyler Murray, 40 total touchdowns. Marvin Harrison Jr., Pro Bowler. Trey McBride, 10 or more touchdowns. Zay Jones solidifies his wide receiver 2. Yalta Froholt, Pro Bowler. Defense, forcing 30-plus takeaways, up massively from their number of 17 last year. Budda Baker, All-Pro. Garrett Williams, Pro Bowler. If all of those things happen, yeah. We're going to be laughing watching this team next year in a good way, not in a bad way. So the Athletic polled a bunch of executives, and the Arizona Cardinals were tied for the most votes for a team that was going to surprise people more than the rest in 2025. And, one of those things that, especially during the run in 2021, where it was like, oh, good. You don't want anybody looking this way. You don't want anybody believing that the Cardinals are legit. They ended up not being, and I kind of had that. But it was good. It's like, cool. All that matters is what's inside State Farm Stadium. You don't need the national recognition. Look at the national recognition the Cowboys get, and teams that just get looked at as, oh, positive. It's always gonna be positive. It's always gonna be positive. They're always gonna get the recognition, even though they don't deserve it. To their credit, Mike McCarthy, they won double-digit games almost every year he was there, aside from the year that Dak was hurt. Anyways, the Cardinals getting this poll by executives, it's a testament to Monti Ossenfort. This is about Monti Ossenfort and Jonathan Gannon and the other coach, Nick Rallis and Drew Petzing. For really quick about Drew Petzing, look at how many bad offenses there are in the NFL. Look at how good the Arizona Cardinals run game is. Just because it hasn't been perfect and Kyler Murray and he haven't been on the same page all the time doesn't mean that Drew Petzing hasn't been effective. I know it's easy to say he's the scapegoat. You're going to scapegoat one person. Look around. Look at the NFL. How many bad offenses there are, man. How coordinators are constantly getting fired after 1 year, after 2 years. So this, poll is a testament to Monti Ossenfort and the coaches And the Cardinals are in a very, very good spot going into 2025 with an elevated roster. It's not just like, oh, the coaches are good, but the roster leaves something to be desired. Everything is fully operational, functional, and ready to rip starting week 1. Everything is ready. And now it's going to come down to what happens between the lines, whatever cliche you want to add here. And for the first time in my, 15 years in sports media, I feel like the Arizona Cardinals are officially ready. And I know with the Carson Palmer years and stuff like that, where they won 10 games 3 years in a row, it's like it was a makeshift team. There was a shelf life. There's no shelf life on this team. So I'm baking that in to the Cardinals being ready, not just for this year, but for years to come, regardless of who's at quarterback, okay? This team is ready to rip. And I'm fully behind the fact that Kyler Murray is their quarterback in 2026. Why am I fully behind that? Well, because the Cardinals are going to win a bunch of games in 2025. And I'm going to talk about that tomorrow with my full breakdown of the schedule, win-loss predictions as we get closer and closer to week 1. It's here, man. We did it. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Remember, without you, there is no me. I'll talk to you tomorrow.